We go ahead and call our meeting, city council meeting for December 21st to order. If I can have a roll call, please.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman? Ms. Materney?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy? Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here. All right, if you can join me and please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone has received a copy of the meeting minutes for December 7th. If anybody has any thoughts on that, okay, hearing none, I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of the public hearing for December 2nd, 2021, as written, dispense with the reading, as well as the meeting minutes for December 7th, 2021, as written, dispense with the reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Materney?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
All right, I don't believe we have any special reports today. Do we have any letters, communications, or citizen concerns this afternoon? Seeing no one jumping up, we'll jump into administrative reports. I know the mayor's not here today, but he does have an appointment that he would like to nominate Scott Anderson to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The Appointment Review Committee did meet and recommend 3-0 on that. So at this time, I'm going to make a motion to approve Scott Anderson to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
Discussion? All right, roll call.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Materney? Yes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
All right. City Administrator report.
No report.
Thank you. Finance Director.
No report.
All right, Law Director.
No report.
Okay, perfect. President of Council, there's one report. We, with the modified pay, we have 2 employees who have gone above that 7% threshold. Those are Cody Grody as well as Elaine Paterno. Cody has a $5,000 increase over the year, and Elaine is $4,000 we need to vote on. This is to keep in line with the new bands based off of their scale. So with that, I am going to make a motion for passage and conversation for Cody Grody as the P&Z inspector for a $5,000 increase, and Elaine Paterno, the executive assistant, at a $4,000 increase to begin on December 26th of 2021.
Second, Jonathan.
Any discussion on this? All right, hearing none, roll call.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Materney? Yes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
All right, and there's one other thing that I do have. So Deborah, on behalf of Perrysburg City Council and the residents of Perrysburg, it's my pleasure to present you with a proclamation honoring and thanking you for your service here for the last 4 years on City Council.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's been my pleasure to get to know you, and over these past 4 years, as well as on the Recreation Committee for those years, and I don't think any one of us can question your dedication as well as commitment to the city of Perrysburg. And I can say it's not going to be the same without you up here, so.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
I do appreciate it. Thank you. I also have a statement that I'd like to make, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I want to leave to look.
No, if you want to make it with this, that's fine.
I have a statement which I'm going to deliver at this time. This evening marks the final meeting of my current term on Perrysburg City Council. During this time, I was chair of the Recreation Committee and served 2 terms on the Safety Committee and one each on service and on finance and economic development. I have enjoyed my work on these committees, and I am proud of the new 2nd Fire Station on Fort Meigs Road, for which I worked even before being elected to council. The inclusive playground and pavilion at Rotary Park and the new pickleball courts at Municipal Park, the last 2 came through my Recreation Committee. I was glad to go along with the majority of the council to pass a resolution supporting the Lake Erie resolution, and now it is time for the city of Perrysburg to follow words with action by stopping the dumping of sewage into the Maumee River. Among other others, I would like to thank Jim Matuzak and Faraz Gambari for being helpful colleagues while they were here. Among city staff, I'm particularly grateful to my Perrysburg High School classmate, Dave Krebs, for being a constant and reliable source of information when it was needed. I also had the opportunity to meet and work with many fine citizens of Perrysburg after they contacted me in dealing with administration actions. I am particularly grateful to those Perrysburg citizens who voted for me in the recent election, whether or not their votes were counted. No matter what happens in the future, I will continue my effort to help Perrysburg to maintain those many unique qualities which allow it to preserve its status as a great place to live for all types of people. I have set this goal for myself whether or not I am in office. Hopefully, future councilors will work toward this goal as well. Later, Deborah Elmore.
Thank you, Deborah. So with that, that'll be the end of the President of Council report. And we'll jump right into our committee reports. The first being Finance and Economic Development.
Thank you. The Finance and Economic Development Committee met this evening. I don't have the official minutes written yet, but here's a summary of what we just talked about this evening. The meeting was called to order by Chairman Mark Weber at 5:35. Present were committee members Deborah Bourne and Tim McCarthy. Also present were Bridget Cabot, City Administrator, Amber Rathburn, Finance Director, and Kayla Trago, Deputy Finance Director. Meeting minutes, there were no objections to the minutes of the November 9th, 2021 meeting, and they were approved. So then the committee discussed several end-of-the-year items. First being the health insurance for 2022. Matt Holzmer and his son Josh were here to give a presentation. They're from the Savage firm in Maumee, and Matt's been our consultant since 1992. He reported that they went through multiple proposals were reviewed, and United Healthcare once again for the second year in a row, provided the most competitive quote to be the city's healthcare administrator. We 19 we had NFP, and numbers were just much better here for UHC. As in years past, we are budgeted in 2022 for the maximum claim liability to ensure the plan is fully funded. The health insurance fund carries a reserve at the end of the year if the maximum claim liabilities are not met. So this ordinance would need to be passed as an emergency to have the coverage in place at the beginning of 2022. So the committee agreed 3-0 to pass the ordinance on to City Council. Next was the audit contract for 2022, but it's for the 2021 budget. The city is required to submit to an audit each year, and the auditor for the state of Ohio solicits bids and assigns a firm to perform the audit. We've had the Raymond Company since 2016 to 2020, and so this year the state chose Clark, Schaefer, Hackett Business Advisors for a cost not to exceed $31,600. They are a local firm from Toledo, so like I said, this is a 5-year contract. And the audit for 2021 year will take place in 2022. And we usually get those results sometime in the summer. This is really a 31.6. I was told that in 2019 we paid $32,000, and in 2020 we paid $36,000. So we really got a pretty good bargain here. So the committee agreed 3-0 to pass that resolution on to City Council. On the Finance Director's report, the committee reviewed November's expenditures that exceeded $5,000. Amber and Bridget answered all of our questions satisfactory that we had. And Ms. Rathburn also reported on the balance of the health insurance fund. I believe as of the end of November, the balance is still somewhat healthy, $220,000, but I think we still have some large claims maybe coming in. And then the final year-end reconciliation ordinances for the 2021 budget. There are 3 housekeeping items that the council votes on this time every year, and the 2 amendments more or less clean up the 2021 budget and will need to be passed as emergency measures so reconciliations can take place before the end of the year. The first one makes the necessary amendments to the budget to accurately account for revenues in excess of what was anticipated. And the second ordinance is an amendment to the estimated appropriations and legislatively authorizes expenses that were not anticipated. I hope I said that all correctly. That's about what we covered today. In the third ordinance, we're authorizing the Director of Finance to make interfund transfers between budgeted accounts to balance the accounts for the fiscal year 2021. And I think I asked tonight if any monies were transferred out of divisions, but no, they all just stay right here within general fund, from fund to fund here, right, internal. The committee agreed 3-0 to pass all three ordinances on the city council, and there was no other business. The meeting ended, I didn't look at the clock, it was sometime before 6. So I'd like to introduce, I want to introduce Resolution 69, 2021, and move that the rules be suspended to allow for its reading by number and title only, and to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second?
Roll call.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni? Yes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Resolution 69, 2021, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Clark Schaefer Hackett Business Advisors not to exceed $31,600 for the 2021 audit.
I move that Resolution 69-2021 be passed.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Matroni?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 74-2021 and move that the rules be suspended to allow for its reading by number and title only, and to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second?
Roll call.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni? Yes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ordinance 74, 2021, authorizing city health insurance coverage administration agreement through United Healthcare Benefit Administrators and related entities, and declaring an emergency.
I move that Ordinance 74-2021 be passed as an emergency measure.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni? Yes.
I'll do the next three together if there's no objections. I would like to introduce ordinances 75, 76, and 77-2021 and move that the rules be suspended to allow for their readings by number and title only, and to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni? Yes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ordinance 75, 2021, amending the city budget ordinance to revise the estimated revenues for the year ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 76, 2021, amending city budget ordinance by authorizing certain additions to appropriations for the year ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 77, 2021, authorizing certain cash transfers within the city's budget and declaring an emergency.
I move that ordinances 75, 76, and 77-2021 be passed as emergency measures.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni? Yes. Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
The next Finance and Economic Development Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 11th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Safety Committee.
Thank you. Are we referring to you as Mr. President still, or what's?
That's fine.
You're acting on it.
You're acting on it?
Yeah.
The Safety Committee was called to order on December the 8th at 5:30 p.m. Committee members present was Barry Van Huzen, Mark Weber, and Deborah Bourne. Also present were Bridget Cabot, City Administrator, Pete Cedrero, Law Director, and Patrick Jones, Police Chief. There was the approval of minutes from the previous readings. An update on DORA was the emphasis of the Safety Committee meeting. Ms. Sandrero stated that she believes the DORA has been a success so far, with minor hiccups, but is not, with minor hiccups, but has not caused great difficulties. She has received no citizen complaints as the law director. I asked if this was to be an annual review, if this will be an annual review. Ms. Sandrero stated that this can be discussed at any time and is only mandatory at the 5-year mark. I asked that I would like to see this reviewed on an annual basis. Mr. Weber wanted to know about the possibility of allowing for a second DORA. Ms. Sandrero stated that at this time, nothing has changed that would allow for a second location. Ms. Bourne wanted to know why we did not complete this review by October 1st of 2021. Ms. Sandrero stated that we are within proper time to review because the DORA, with amendments, began in April 2021. Chief Jones stated that there were hesitations and unknowns on their part, that it has been a positive result overall. He talked about several instances where there have been violations, such as in the green space inside the 5, at the food trucks along farmers market nights, during farmer market nights, and music in the market. However, with all these instances, as soon as the officers informed the people of the violation, they moved back within the boundaries of the DORA, simply misunderstanding where they could and could not be. Chief Jones stated that a square or rectangle is ideal for the boundaries of the DORA for ease of enforcement and is open to having the DORA go from Elm to Walnut and Fifth to Front. An issue for consideration is including the Commodore building, its green space, and the library in the DORA district. Ms. Bourne stated that she is not a big fan of DORA and that we should leave the boundaries as they are. Chief Jones added that they did not have an issue, they did not have to issue any citations, and that there have been 0 cases of drunken or disorderly issues as it relates to DORA. Ms. Cabot stated that they have not seen a large increase in trash due to the DORA in downtown Perrysburg either. Ms. Cabot also added she has received no complaints from the businesses in downtown or from the general public. Chris Morris, co-owner of Inside the 5 Brewing Company, stated that the community and businesses love the DORA. Business has increased because of it. The owner of Bragaza loves the DORA and is a big supporter of it. Mr. Morris stated Mr. Morris would like to see the boundaries of the DORA expanded as described by Chief Jones. He stated that the DORA cups show where you can go and the people are learning where they can and cannot go with the cups in downtown. He would like the green space near Inside the 5 added to the DORA boundaries. Mr. Morris would also like to see the space where the food trucks typically are added to the DORA boundaries, or have the food trucks move elsewhere. He suggested adding a secondary coffee DORA cup for warm drinks in the wintertime. Ms. Sandrero believes the second cup could be added without an ordinance. If the boundaries of the DORA are proposed to change, though, there must be a public notice as well as public hearings. Ms. Bourne stated that she would like the cup to be as environmentally friendly as possible and advised again that the boundaries should stay in place. The committee members will speak to representatives of the Commodore Building and the Wade Public Library before proposing the change in the boundaries of DORA. In other business, I and Mr. Weber stated that they have enjoyed serving with Ms. Bourne, and while they did not agree on every matter at hand, they appreciate her serving. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned at 6:17. And our next meeting will be Tuesday, January 25th at 6 p.m. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Recreation Committee.
I'm going to call you Acting Mayor Smith, if you don't mind. I have a couple things I wanted to report on. We did not meet this month in December. However, I presented a plaque donated by Michael Kuzno Restoration at no cost to the taxpayers to former crack member Quinn Baumgartner, who is now at Ohio State as a student, and recognized her for her service. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Planning and Zoning Committee.
No report. And we will meet in January. Barry, I'm gonna suggest a different date for the meeting, so I think I'll send an email to you and Corey, Bridget, Kate, Brody, and we'll try and figure out a date that works. That particular day doesn't work very well for me anymore. So nothing further to report.
Okay. Personnel, who wants to take on personnel?
We haven't met since.
I don't think there should be no report
Okay.
and no legislation.
The next set of the meeting is in January sometime, or yet to be decided.
I think it'll probably, it's the same people on the committee, right? Or is it all?
No.
So we'll decide in January.
Okay.
Acting President Smith, the meeting that was at the very last day of November was to cover both the month of November and the month of December per chair of that committee, Councilman Coleman.
Okay. All right, thank you. Public utilities, there's no report. The meeting that would be typically tomorrow is canceled at this point, and the next tentative meeting that will be decided at the next, by the next chair and committee members is going to be on Wednesday, January 26th at 6:30 p.m. And the vet report and finally service.
Well, I have no report. We were tentatively supposed to meet,
Tomorrow.
thank you, or yesterday. That was canceled due to no legislation. But I do have, an ordinance I'd like to, bring forward. I would like to introduce ordinance 78-2021 and move that the rules be suspended, allow for its reading by number and title only, and to dispense with the second reading.
No second. Roll call.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ordinance 78, 2021, accepting streets, alleys, and green space per codified ordinance 1295.07 for Coventry Point, Lot 1, and declaring an emergency.
I move that ordinance, 78-2021 be passed as an emergency measure.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Van Huzen?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Ms. Bourne?
Yes.
Ms. Matroni?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
That's all I have. Our next meeting is tentatively on the January 26th at 5:30.
All right, thank you. Any other business for the good of council? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Any, if no opposed, I will adjourn.